This is Talk with TAS, a radio experience hosted by Dr. Teresa A. Smith, a licensed counselor and professor focused on the transformative journeys of her guests and the lessons they've learned along the way. She's also an author, speaker, and nationally known social media personality. Join her now as she interviews newsmakers, artists, authors, and more. You will learn something new. This is Talk with TAS. Here's your host, Dr. Teresa A. Smith, also known as Dr. TAS.
Peter McNeil is an author. He's an accomplished author. He is a screenwriter. And again, we've been having so much fun off camera. I told him, I said, let me press the button because they need to hear all this good stuff that we're talking about. You talk about in your bio how Mo Better Blues really, it became a voice for you. You understood that you could do this. So what was it about Mo Better Blues, and that's Spike Lee, of course, and folks know that propelled you to want to capture your own stories on paper?
I remember watching Spike Lee's, not his very first one, Lord, I forgot the name of it, it'll come back to me, but watching his blockbuster, Do the Right Thing.
Do the Right Thing.
That movie spoke to every New Yorker,
Yeah.
okay, especially to the Black New Yorker. I said, I love that. That's me, Fire Hot, everything. If you remember Do the Right Thing.
Yeah.
And I said, I'm gonna follow this guy's, I'm gonna watch all his stuff, School Days. I forgot his first one, I had to go back and watch that. I went to the movies with this girl I was going with in Harlem. It was the Beacon Theater. That's when we used to dress up and go to the theater.
Okay.
Everybody used to dress up and go to the theater. Harlem, Beacon Theater, Mo Better Blues. I watched that movie. I left out of that movie floating. This is 1990 when it first came out. I think if I'm sure it came out in 90. I was floating. A voice said, "You could do this." That was in 90. I didn't activate it until 97. When I got into the post office. But that was then that voice said you could do this. And during that time, I would hear more and more voices, to do this. You got to listen to that whisper of God. That whisper is powerful, but you need to dig through all of that to get to the whisper. And I kept putting more and more layers of my nonsense on top, just suppressing that. Because at the top go ahead.
I'm sorry, because I want to reiterate what you just said, because that's a nugget. You heard the voice, and you knew you weren't just here to exist. You heard the voice. You felt you already were a writer. You felt that you could do it. You heard it. You were so impressed by that piece of work by Spike. But the point is, you then said you kept layering on things that was preventing you from your term is activated, but was preventing you from doing the work.
Exactly.
Why? Why were you doing that?
Insecurities, trying to find my own place. I still, didn't know who I was, trying to fit in, and not even accepting who I was. Even in New York, I'm a New Yorker. Even in New York, I would get people that say, you don't act like a New Yorker. I don't do things that the normal was supposedly a New Yorker supposed to be doing. I remember, and I think I wrote it in the bio, I would be on the stoop. This is back in my, high school days. Even before videos even came out now, sit on the stoop, we all around just talking, laughing. A lot of times my mind is conjuring up a story of what's going on in that circle. My friend at the time, my best friend Carlos, caught me laughing. He said, "Pete, Why you always do that? You just laugh until you're, because I'm making scenarios up of what's happened at that time and implementing my own whatever that I still do to this day. I'm already conjuring up stories and plots and whatever, but I'm not even acting up on it. You know, who knows? Maybe if I had, I don't know. You know, I don't want to blame anybody because you got people that's been in my situation make the best of it, you know, and seeked out, kind of knew what they wanted to do, you know, at early age. Mine came later on.
Well, Peter, I don't know what your question is going to be, but my question, your statement was going to be, but my question was going to be, do you think if you had someone to share that desire with, what you were doing, you would have become more secure in it at an earlier age?
Yeah. But I didn't have anybody. Nobody was thinking the way I was thinking. You know, nobody. I remember playing. We were playing catch and kiss. You know what I'm saying? With my cousin and the friends in the neighborhood growing up, and I played that game for real. And all my homeboys used to get caught. I'm like, why they get caught? I was naive. So
I got it.
I'm like, damn.
My mind is thinking about other things. But yeah, they wanted to get caught. You didn't want to get caught. So you were playing the game.
Very naive. I was just like always late to the party mentally. I'm like, damn, you know? Yeah. And
but Peter, now we're talking, you're dropping nuggets for writers, yeah. But one thing I want you to I want to just draw out with what you said, that yes, you think if you'd had an earlier cheerleader, you may have activated your gift earlier. But, you know, you talk about the Cosby Show, you talk about the Huxtables, and that was your idea of what family should be. And I can understand that because for African Americans, when the Cosby Show was on, it was the first time for some folks that they actually saw two professional parents, college-educated professional parents who worked well together, who had kids that were progressing. They all had their own strengths. You see the grandparents come in and out. They worked as a unit. And that was probably the first time we'd seen that broadly on network television. And so I can see how it became a parenting tool, not just for you, but for other parents based upon what their role models have been. But I want to make the connection, though, for parents as to what you just said. If you'd had an opportunity to share what you were doing, what your mind was thinking about with a parent who was receptive, that may have propelled your purpose a little sooner. So for me, the nugget is, as parents, we have to be very mindful of the differences that our children bring to the table and nurture those differences, because that could be where their gifting lies, instead of sometimes suppressing things because it's like, no one in our family's ever liked doing this. Nobody in our family has been in this profession. Why do you want to write? Why are you always talking about, you know, chemicals and molecules and all that type of stuff? Or why are you drawing out floor plans for a house or cars? Because that's where their gifting lies.
Yes.
And we have to nurture that even if we don't have that skill set.
Yes.
Because I may not have it. And as a parent, because I don't have it, I don't want my child to think less of me. But that's an opportunity for me to nurture them, but also help them to understand that everybody has different gifts, and all the gifts and talents are important, because your gifts and your talents are so important. And you talk about being idle and how that led to the porn addiction and then to earn. Now we're going to have to jump, Peter, because like you said, it's been 2 or 3 hours, Peter. Yeah. Now, I'm postal.
Yes.
I know you were working in the post office in New York. When I met you, you were doing, I met you in February, March of last year. So you were doing crowdfunding. You were kicking off your crowdfunding because you were getting ready to do a short film about Postal, which I've read Postal. And guys, I'm just, we got Postal 2 and we got Postal. And that's how I came to know Peter as a writer, because you are so descriptive when you write, but that's who you are. And now that I'm sitting down in the kitchen with you, I understand it even more now, because that's just how you're wired. Yeah. You're wired that way. So, like you said, with your friends, you know, they're all doing whatever, and you observing, you listening to what they're talking about, but you're making up different scenarios about what's happening. So I know that because of COVID-19, you were not able to proceed with your filming in April of last year. But like most people who realized that COVID was putting a stop to one thing, but provided an opportunity for something else, talk to my audience about how you pivoted and what you guys have done as a result of putting Postal just on pause right now, because Postal's just on pause. Talk to the audience about what you've now got coming down the pipe.
You know, there's an old saying, I'm quite sure you heard it, tell God your plans and he's going to laugh and whatnot, right?
Yeah.
So, you know, we self-published Postal in 2012, went on a book tour throughout the country, me and my wife, Pam. And 2015, like I said, I want to keep it short, but there's so many pivotal things that led up to the filming of such and whatnot. So 2015, we went to a festival. We had such a spiritual counseling from 7 folks. We got to talk about that at a different time, which led me and Pam to shoot our first short film of Postal, which was only supposed to be a visual concept. You see how big those things are. Mm-hmm. So we did a 30-minute version and a 45-minute version to appease certain festivals, and everybody loved it. You know, everybody loved it. You know, even won an award. Went to San Diego Film Festival. Went to one of their workshops. And this writer told me to write out the full screenplay. Do you have a complete script? I said, no. He said, get on it. He said, a great script moves mountains. I said, got you. So when I went back home, and mind you, we had other festivals to go to, I got on the business of writing non-episodic miniseries of those 2 books. So last year we were supposed to film the first episode of Postal. Now, let me just pause there. During 2000, in the 2000s, even when we got the books done, I was writing Urge. I was outlining Urge the whole time. Even when I was in the midst of my deep addiction, a voice told me, write about this. This is in the top of it. When the computer came into our house, and I'm up here doing Postal, and when I would have a break, I let the fingers do the walking. Next thing I know, I'm looking at stuff. I'm like, ooh, for free? I don't have to go to the video store and rent this? It's free. No, it's not free, because I wasted a lot of time. Yeah. So a voice said, you're going to be writing about this. So I've been writing. I was halfway through with Urge as a book. Okay. Last year came, we was all pumped, you know, to do the film the first episode of Urge in April of last year. And then the pandemic came. It hit, you know, the country, and we were like, oh, we're going to continue. We didn't know how devastating this whole thing was going to be until everything started shutting down. The big cities started shutting down. And then, of course, we had to shut down. Once it hit, we shut it down. That was the best thing. And I'm not going to say that, because the whole COVID thing was such something. It was whatever. But for us, it stopped us for making a financial mistake. It took so much burden off my shoulders because we wasn't ready to film that. We was going to.
Yes.
We had all our profile actors. We had you saw.
I know.
We had everything. We had our locations. We had our film crew. We was ready, but it wasn't supposed to happen. So my wife and I was kind of depressed. Not so much because of what was going on. I said we covered. We're gonna be all right. In spite of what's going on. I said, I'm gonna start working on my spiritual development, my physical, make sure I'm okay. During that whole time, I lost 20 plus pounds, and I want to continue. I'm doing all that. I'm up here tightening up the rest of the episodes of Postal, and then one day, I said, nah, something ain't right. Because really, I want to own stuff. I don't want to write it and give it to somebody else and they make it, no. I want to own it, but I wasn't going to own it that way with pouring all our money into that first episode. Because we refinanced our house to invest in our project. Mm-hmm. I'm going to answer your question, but I'm just going to lay everything out. That crowdfunding that was supposed to be launched that night when we had our party, it didn't fare out well, and we knew it. You know what I'm saying? I said, no, we're not going to depend on ourselves. So that's why we did we're going to keep the money we had. We thought we was going to get more to add on it, but we didn't. And it was all fine. So I said, boo, I came home from work. I said, what am I supposed to do? She said, give it up to God. Talk to God. Because our casting director said, put Postal to the side and do a feature film. I went to bed. I woke up that next morning and God pretty much said, you're going to finish Urge as a screenplay, and that's the first one you go to film. I woke up, I told Pam exactly what I just got finished telling you. And I got on the business of finish it as a script. So I took that last summer up until the tail end of last year. I kind of finished it. And then I gave it to my casting director, and she loved it. Now, this is my transparent story, okay? But I'm cool because I'm ready to share it. You know what I'm saying? Because I'm over it. And our goal is for people to see it and help people know that they could make a change. Because all these addictions is covering up something else.
Yes.
You know what I'm saying? It's covering up people that do a lot of drinking or depending on a drug or whatever. It's because they're suppressing something. It's just to suppress something else that they really dealing with. Insecurities a lot. So I was ready. So I gave it to my casting director. She loved it. I gave it to my cinematographer. He's like, we got to do this. I said, I know we're going to do this. You know what I'm saying? And our casting director did the auditions. I'm just fast forwarding it, through. We got our production team. This is all last year, early this year. I ain't doing no crowdfunding. We gonna use the money we had. Last year I was buying all the props. I'm a person, I'm not gonna be like asking, to donate. No, I ain't got time for you to tell me no. You know what I'm saying? I ain't got time for that. I ain't got time for you to ignore me. We gonna do this. So last year I was buying props. I was buying clothing. I was doing this. I was doing that. Blah, 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 blah. Pam was doing this and doing that. Going over the script, making sure we getting it really tight. Assembled our squad, and thankfully I have a job that's really, I have a flexible schedule to allow me to film, because I have a job. I work at a steel company now, and we have a schedule where every month we get a 7-day stretch off every month. That's how we was able to be all over the country because I started working with them in 2012. Gerdau Steel Company, love them. That's how we were able to do all our functions. A lot of my friends like, how he had all this time off? because of my job. We would get, and I would use it. I would use them 7-day stretches, you know. And yeah, there were times when I didn't have anything to go on. I would do overtime. But if we had an event going on, them 7-day stretches, a lot of times we didn't have to use our personal or vacation days. But this year I tacked it on more additional days to stretch it out, because it was a 10-day filming event. Well, we filmed in 9 days. We had a day break, a break in it. So all in all, 10 days, we got it done. It was incredible. Now, mind you, not only that we're doing this, we getting all this assembled, we got this to be concerned with, all the challenges of what we're going to do, how we're going to get this, all this other stuff done. We got to deal with the COVID guidelines.
Yes.
So we had meetings on top of meetings about that in itself. Mm-hmm. You know, I was buying a lot of PPE, gloves, masks, hand sanitizer, everything. You know, we had to have a COVID compliance officer on deck. Mm-hmm. All the actors who auditioned and we liked them, they said they loved their character, they loved the script. That April came and God was all in it from beginning to end. It was just such a beautiful experience. And you will see it, because right now it's crazy. You know, yesterday, was it 2 days ago? I had a guy that was doing behind the scenes shooting. So he came by yesterday and we were just talking. It was just amazing, you know, and he got so much footage of behind the scenes. That's a movie in itself. And I'm excited about that, you know, but really, we're really excited right now. We're in post-production, editing, then we're going to have it, Lord scored. Composer, yeah. The composer going to add the music elements and all that. So that's where we at now. And we're excited. And I want to finish Urge as the book, to have that, you know, book. I want to finish it as a book. And truth be known, I'm revamping Postal.
Okay.
I'm revamping it because my wife like, what are you doing? I said, because I'm better now. I know my voice now as a writer. I know my voice. And what I have now, I shut everything down. I shut all my Amazon, I relaunched our company. And now I got to get a new website. I shut everything down on Amazon and Barnes & Noble, where my books were. I don't want nobody reading what you have. Even though Pam was like almost incredible and a lot of people loved it. And the people that's going to watch this, it is really good. But now what I'm going to have on, you know, for the master to see once I relaunch it, if anything, Teresa, I brought it up to speed because that was like late 90s, early 2000s. My script is so modern. I said, and I love it because I had to pull the script from the book.
Yes.
And I'm like, dang, I'm going to bring this book up to speed with the screenplay. Yes. Because once Urge is done and it gets on some platform, streaming platform, where things open it up, maybe the big screen, whatever, it's going somewhere, and people see it and generate the money it's going to generate, that money is going back into Postal. And we're going to do it the right way, the way it's supposed to be. You know what I'm saying? And we're so excited, you know, but, you know, we just got to remain focused, give God all the glory, and keep it moving.
You know, this has been a masterclass for me and for the audience, Peter. You know, I think as we bring our time in the kitchen to a close, you know, and I didn't make any jokes about that. I could hear the New York accent come out sometimes. You know, we would do it all the time. When I get
excited, it starts coming out big time. Yeah.
You know, but, you know, I want to say, as a person who met you last year, and I knew how, let's say 2020, I know how focused you were. And, you know, COVID happened, you know, physical things happen to people, you know, very, very closely, and, you know, things happen.
Yes.
You didn't give up. And for me, I'm going to borrow some language from our current president, Joe Biden. You became the kid from Scranton, was it Pennsylvania that he talks about? You didn't stop. Yeah. You kept fighting and fighting and fighting. You kept persevering. You kept reinventing yourself. And I understand exactly what you mean when you say the urge, when you took urge from being a book to being a screenplay, it metamorphosed, and it's something that's solid. It's good. You filmed it. You got your voice.
Yes.
You got your voice. And that's something that you always had in here. And you had it in your heart. But it was taking a while for it to be activated. So for me, the way I see it, during the 2020, you were able to come out of that incubation phase. Yes. You'd written Postal. You've written Postal too, and they're good. Mm-hmm. But when you came out after having a little time, you came out as the butterfly. And that butterfly knows who he is, has his voice, and therefore, when we get Postal reimagined, it's going to be a blockbuster.
Thank you.
Because
it is.
It's good. Yeah. So if you now have refined your voice,
oh my goodness.
Oh, come on now. Yes. It's going to be off the chain. And so I say to you, kudos, because you took what could have been, and as you say, you were a little depressed. And like I tell people when I'm doing my coaching, we give ourselves an hour, sometimes it might be a week.
Yes.
We don't follow a little bit, but we can't stay there. Because if you stay there, you stop the progress, you don't get your lesson, and you don't move to what's just right down the road waiting on you. Yeah. And you are a living, talking, walking example of activating that philosophy, that mantra. And now you're in post-production with a film, not a short, not a mini-series. So it's like you went from here to all the way over here.
Yeah.
Just jumped all over these other things.
Yeah.
And now we're just waiting. So for my audience, I want them to understand that no matter where you start at, no matter how many setbacks it appears that you're having, just continue to persevere and pay attention to the voice when you hear the voice. Because sometimes we don't want to pay attention because it's not always what we want to do or what we want to hear. But pay attention to it and continue to do the work. Because I am so excited for you. I'm so excited that now is the time that I'm interviewing you. I know you will keep me posted on Urge, and I'm going to do a little interview that we'll put out on things so that people are aware of this great movie that's coming out. And I cannot wait to see it. I really cannot wait to see it. And I'm so happy for you guys. I'm really happy for you.
Thank you. You know, I'm just thinking, you know, you were supposed to interview me last year, but we never got a chance because you was interviewing everybody else, which is cool. And you was going to leave us for last, but it never happened. But you see where we at now, and congratulations on your new segment. You know, I'm excited for you, and I'm going to get your book as well. Stronger, the name of it is Stronger.
Stronger, how overcoming life's adversity will push you to your...
I'm going to support that, and I'm going to buy it, okay? You know, I learned over the years, just support people. We got to support each other, you know what I'm saying? And I'm definitely going to do that. And oh my God, I'm so excited for your segment, you know, and everything that God got for you. You know what I'm saying? Because our gifts are not for us. It's for the people, you know, for the world, you know. And if we just stand by and just, you know, not do anything, you know, we letting people down, you know.
Well, thank you, Peter. It's all about being the best person that you can be and then helping other people become the best people that they can be. So thank you so much, Peter, for recognizing that. And thank you for being with me today. And until our next interview, I'm going to say, until then, I'm not even going to do my bye now or any of that until our next interview together.
Yes. All right. Peace. Take care, though.
Thank you for listening to Talk with TAS with Dr. Teresa A. Smith. For more information on this show and Dr. TAS, you should visit AskDrTaz.com. That's AskDrTas.com. Talk with TAS is a production of DQ Consulting, LLC. Dr. Teresa Smith, executive producer.